I already gave you my top 10 favorite movies of 2016. Now it's time for the exact opposite. And again, a couple disclaimers first. First of all, I did not get to see every shitty movie that came out this year. But unlike my top 10 favorite movies of 2016, I'm not gonna apologize. Because why would I apologize for not having seen shitty movies? And also, I did not review some of these films. Why? Because shitting all over films isn't really my thing. Sometimes I enjoy doing it, sometimes it can be funny, but if I do it all the time, this starts to feel like work and not like a hobby, and I don't like that. Also, last but not least, if you enjoy some of these films, that's absolutely okay. I mean, we all have different opinions, and these are just my opinions. Disclaimers have been disclaimed. Let's do this.
That is one big pile of shit.
Coming in at number 10 is a reboot that no one really asked for. It's a movie that already broke the record of having the most disliked trailer in history. Ghostbusters. Way to shit on a beloved franchise. This movie had nothing that made the original Ghostbusters movie great. There was no clever dialogue, the comedy was cheap, it was filled with stupid ass slapstick and walking and talking cliches. I'm looking at you, Leslie Jones. Chris Hemsworth's character, what the fuck was that all about? That's not funny, that's just retarded. And this movie had the most shameless marketing campaign of all time because it tried to blackmail us emotionally. Because, hey, if you didn't like the movie, you're clearly a sexist. No, you're not. If you make a shit movie, I will call it a shit movie. And Ghostbusters was a shit movie. Only thing I liked was Kate McKinnon's character, but it does not make up for this massive piece of shit.
That is one big pile of shit.
Coming in at number 9 is a sequel that we all desperately wanted. The Mechanic Resurrection. Why? Why does this movie even exist? The first one was bad. The second one, holy shit, worse. I mean, they topped themselves. We gotta give them credit for that, I guess. I like Jason Statham, but he did not save this movie. You really had to suspend disbelief. And unlike the Fast and Furious movies, this time around, it's not fun. It's just nonsense. It's nonsense. Stuff happening in front of you and you're like, okay, I can't even tell what's happening. The shaky cam got on my nerves. The forced romance between Jason Statham and Jessica Alba, I didn't give a fuck about it, to be quite honest. And I was checking my watch. Yeah, if an action movie bores me, that's never a good sign.
That is one big pile of shit.
In my last video, my top 10 favorite movies of 2016, I mentioned that this year was a great year for animation. We had Moana, Zootopia, and Kubo and the Two Strings, but some animated films just sucked ass. The Secret Life of Pets, one of them. I mean, this was pretty much the shitty version of Toy Story. You've had two characters that were at odds with one another that had to fight in order to get something done and become friends. However, there was no chemistry whatsoever. The movie was all over the place. It was not funny. It was not clever. It didn't have heart. It had really, really cheap jokes. And I watched this movie in a theater crowded with kids and they were bored. That's never a good sign. If a kids movie doesn't even entertain kids, yeah, fuck you, Secret Life of Pets, fuck you.
That is one big pile of shit.
Number 7 is a film that proved once and for all that video game adaptations are just a bad idea. Assassin's Creed. I've never played the games because I'm not a gamer, but people told me great things about these games. Apparently they're awesome. Well, this movie was a piece of shit, was boring as hell. The most interesting bits about this film all take place in the past. However, 85% does not take place in the past and deals with a very bizarre story. Holy shit, why is Michael Fassbender in this? I don't get it. But yeah, please do not punish us with a sequel to this piece of shit.
That is one big pile of shit.
Coming in at number 6 was a film that I was looking forward to. I love the original, Blair Witch. Yes, that's right, we got a sequel to the Blair Witch Project, only this time around, we're all used to the found footage genre, we're sick and tired of it, and doing this with the camera doesn't work for me. It's not scary, it's not eerie, it's just weird and uncomfortable. I watched this movie in the perfect setting. I was on top of a mountain with a bunch of people in the dark, and this movie didn't scare me. I couldn't even tell what the fuck was happening. I was like, I'm sorry, why are you guys scared? I can't tell what the fuck is happening. This movie just infuriated me because it was not clever, it was weird, it was unrealistic, and I was glad when it finally ended.
That is one big pile of shit.
Coming in at number 5 is a movie that I should like. A movie that is a parody of my most hated movie in 2015, 50 Shades of Black. How did they fuck this up? How did they fuck this up to poke fun at one of the shittiest movies? Well, this movie failed and became one of the shittiest movies in 2016. The jokes were so lame, I didn't laugh once. It goes to show that comedy takes talent. This thing apparently was written by talentless people because it didn't make me laugh once. Way to go. Way to go.
That is one big pile of shit.
Coming in at number 4 was one of the first movies I got to see this year, Gods of Egypt. I'm a fan of historical mythology, Greek mythology, Egyptian mythology, the mythology of different gods. That's interesting. However, if you have the most overacted piece of shit with horrible CGI, action sequences that are just filled with shaky cam, unrealistic stunt work, or no stunt work whatsoever, you have a movie that on the one hand bores you and on the other just infuriates you. This movie was laughable. That's the one good thing about this film. You can watch this movie and laugh your ass off because it is so fucking silly.
That is one big pile of shit.
The Fifth Wave. Can we just please stop adapting all those young adult novels to the big screen? Because this movie, I can't even recall the plot of this monstrosity. It bored me to death. The chemistry between the characters was non-existent. The special effects were garbage. The acting was over the top. The script was all over the place. And it was filled with the typical cliche bullshit that Twilight and all these other Allegiant-like movies taught us. No, thank you.
That is one big pile of shit.
Coming in at number 2 is another animated feature that I had the pleasure of seeing, Angry Birds. Yep, another video game adaptation, actually kind of an app adaptation. Yeah, I hated it. I hated every single second of this movie. The humor was pretty much non-existent. It was just a couple birds doing weird shit, and not weird in a funny way. Everything about this movie just felt off, uncomfortable. I didn't like the characters. I didn't care about the characters. The animation, I guess, was okay. The dance numbers and songs in this movie were god-awful. And I left the theater going, another attempt by a greedy studio to make money off of a video game.
That is one big pile of shit.
Yep, this is it, folks. This is the movie that infuriated me the most this year. Independence Day Resurgence. When I first heard that they were actually going for a sequel to Independence Day, I was like, this is a bad idea. And it was a bad idea. The original Independence Day is a stupid movie, but it fit the time period. It was cheesy, it was over the top, but it had the charismatic talent of Will Smith as a lead character. It had a very focused plot, a bullshit plot that was filled with cliches, but at least something. This movie was all over the place. I did not give a shit about a single character in this film. It tried to rip off Alien by having an actual alien queen in it, and it tried so hard to set up sequels. Yeah, no, we will not watch sequels to this massive piece of shit. And that concludes my top 10 worst movies of 2016. Yeah, I know, 2016 also had a couple horrible movies to offer, but again, I did not bother watching them all. And before you attack me, just let me know which are the movies that infuriated you the most in 2016. Let me know in the comment section below. And thank you guys, as always, for watching. And if you like what you see here and you want to see more, then just subscribe.